To That's Football. We're live. It's our watch-along, Premier League watch-along of this weekend. And it's the last one. It's Everton versus Tottenham, which, to be honest with you, I think it's the pick of the round. I've got to just say straight away, very, very well done to Leicester again. A lot of people predicting Leicester to get top four. They're now 10 points clear of Manchester United. They'll have moved clear of Arsenal again as well. We'll have a look at the Premier League table at the moment. But I tell you what, that's very impressive from Leicester. We've seen Leicester beat Spurs. We've seen Leicester lose to United unluckily. We've seen them just get knocked out. Liverpool did them in the last minute as well. They've done a good account of themselves against the top six so far. But their last three games, I think, have been massively impressive. If you can beat Burnley, and you can beat Southampton, and you can beat Palace, and two of those games are away, and you can take 9 points from that, that to me shows that Leicester mean business, and Brendan Rodgers is doing a fantastic job. This is Everton versus Tottenham. This is definitely Marco Silva's career on the line. It won't be Pochettino's. But Everton currently fourth from bottom. I think he'd be sacked if they lost today. But Everton have got a very good home record. I'm going to predict Everton are going to win this. Interestingly, if Everton were to win this game, they would go above Tottenham and knock Tottenham down into 14th place on 12 points. So, as a United fan, the only result that can knock us down from 10th is if Spurs win. They would go above us into 15 points and they would knock United down to 11th. If Everton win, they'd go level with United, but they wouldn't have better goal difference unless they beat Spurs something like 8-0. But with regards to the league table, Leicester back into third with 23 points. Chelsea as well, 23 points. 6 point gap to fifth. 6 points between Arsenal and Leicester. And they play each other next week, and that will be our watch-along next Saturday night, as well as double watch-along next weekend. Arsenal-Leicester at 5:30. What a game that's going to be. And then Liverpool-Man City on the Sunday. Fantastic weekend just before the international break next week. Really looking forward to that one. But team news for you. Pickford, Sidibe, Holgate, Mina, Dini, Gomez, Delph, Walcott, Davies, Iwobi, Richarlison. Tottenham, Gazzaniga, Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Davies, Ndembele, Sissoko, Son, Ali, Eriksson, Lucas Moura. No Harry Kane is the big news there. Lo Celso on the bench and Sessegnon are on the bench. They're the two new signings as well. But no Harry Kane for Spurs. Where do you feel this game is going to be won and lost today, everybody? Because I think it's going to be a very, very, very interesting game. And I think I'm going to go with an Everton win. I think that they need to win. I think they've got a very good home record, and I think it's. I think that Spurs are just the great unknown, aren't they? At the moment, with regards to Spurs, they are the great unknown. But we're about to kick off. I'm nowhere near ready, so I will get the timer up in the next minute or so. But we are just about to kick off here at Goodison Park, which I have to say is one of my favourite Premier League grounds. Don't ever leave there, Everton. I love Goodison Park. I think the atmosphere. I've always liked Goodison Park, and we have just kicked off. I will get the timer up and running for you as soon as I've loaded up the timer, but it's not going to be too far away. But we have kicked off. We're not massive into it. We're only about 20 seconds in, so let's just get that timer going for you. Hopefully that will just pop up onto the screen, which it has done. Yabba dabba doo. Hope we're all doing well. We will get into your questions. I've had a busy afternoon actually. I've been doing a bit of Call of Duty on my channel, Mark Goldbridge, if you want to give that a watch. Freddie Mercury says, how has your day been? Good. I was up at my sister's last night with family, down the local country pub. A few sparklers, them whirly lit things that you get on bonfire night. A few burgers, a few too many beers, but I'm alright, feeling alright today. A bit of a break from the United stand as well. I think I was live on the United stand at about 2:30 yesterday. I've not done anything until 8 o'clock tonight. Just to take a little bit of thought. If you're a United fan, I just need, sometimes you just need a little bit of a time out, and I needed a bit of a time out, so we'll discuss that at 8 o'clock. Humi says, afternoon Mark, how are you today? This will be interesting if Spurs' form is just a blip or the team needs a major revamp now. I think revamp. Thanks for the contribution, Humi. And Zayn Miasi's here, says, come on you Blues, smash this fake team. Well, as we know, Zayn is a big, big Arsenal fan. So, we have started off here. Everton starting on the front foot. I predict Everton to win this. If they don't win it, I think their manager will be sacked. I think it's as that simple. Bob says Liverpool top of the league. Yeah, I never liked football anyway. Do you think the takeover is true, says Alfred, from Manchester United? No, absolutely not. And I think you should highlight all these people who have tweeted on Friday night and yesterday that they know for a fact that it's true, trying to get followers. You should out them. Tomorrow, when it doesn't happen, out them. Because why are they doing that? There is no news that this is going to happen at all. What I would like to do today as well, just to remind people, is please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you look up there, 97,800. I'd like to get to 98,000 today. So if you have subscribed, please click the share button and share it on Twitter and Facebook and help us grow this community. We're getting so close to 100k, which I think was nothing. I never expected that for this channel. I mean, United stands a bit different. It's a monster channel, that one. But this was just about me going live when I want to watch football, doing a bit of FIFA stuff, and it's grown massively, so I really appreciate it. And if you want to help it grow a little bit more, please do click the share button, share it on Twitter and Facebook, which will take you a couple of seconds. And if you haven't subscribed, bottom right hand corner, we're getting close. I'd love to get 100k for Christmas. It'd be nice. Brito, I haven't looked at my football index in ages. I hate to say this, but I am ridiculously busy all the time. But I'm going to write that down actually to have a look at that. Tottenham are the best, says Alfie Goodyear. I do like I like both of these teams, to be honest. I said this on my Paddy Power FIFA Predicts. Traditionally, Everton and Tottenham have always been clubs that I quite like. Mainly because I don't like Liverpool, so I prefer Everton. And mainly because I don't like Arsenal, so I prefer Spurs. But growing up, one of the first kits I had by total accident was an Everton kit. It was my birthday. My mum was meant to be getting me the blue Manchester United kit, which was a V-neck with Sharp on it, and she bought me a blue V-neck Everton shirt with NEC on it. So I quite liked Everton because I got that shirt, so I used to keep an eye on them. And Tottenham, I remember Tottenham from the very first FA Cup final. I remember sitting and watching all of it. So I do remember the 86 Cup final, which Liverpool won. And I do remember the 85 Cup final just vaguely, which United won. But the first one I really remember watching, and the FA Cup used to be such an event in those days, was Coventry Spurs. And I wanted Spurs to win, and Coventry won. To be honest with you, Mark, it's absolutely unacceptable what's going on at our club, says Freddie Mercury. Yeah, well, I'll be talking about that on the United Stand tonight. Join me at 8 o'clock. I mean, look, we'll have lots of people who support different clubs here. We've probably got Arsenal fans. We'll probably have Liverpool fans. Hopefully some Everton and Spurs fans. Maybe some Villa fans. Lovely ball into Walcott there, but it's just over long ball into Walcott, and it's just a little bit too long from Pickford. But you know what? Maybe we've got Chelsea fans, whatever, but you can relate to this to your club. You could be a Liverpool fan just sat there loving life. You can hypothetically answer this question, or you might be an Arsenal fan who can relate with this situation. But the reality is at Manchester United, what absolutely amazes me about yesterday's match is that we lost to Bournemouth. There were no excuses. We want another penalty to save us. Bournemouth deserved to win the game. Bournemouth are a mid-table club, and Bournemouth beat Manchester United. And we've also lost to West Ham, Newcastle and Palace this season. And yet there are fans saying we need time. We need time. Well, why do you need time when Leicester and Chelsea are 10 points clear with less money spent and managers that have been there less? There's no excuses for it anymore. There are no excuses for the situation at United. That's what irritates me more than anything. But there are so many United fans who have just accepted it, and they're like, "Oh, just give him time." It's the most stupid argument ever. I really hope give him time works. I still think it's the best solution for United if Ollie does miraculously turn it around. But there was no excuses yesterday. That's the one thing that really annoyed me. Come on, Theo, my son, do us proud, says Amy Assey. Well, Everton have started off quite well in this game. We've only had 6 minutes, but Everton have started off well as the home team. Very energetic. They're just terrible away from home, Everton, aren't they? That's been their problem. Mark, I'm a Liverpool fan. Did you hear the nonsense that Jose Mourinho will be taking over at Arsenal? Do you think Diego Simeone's or Rafa Benitez are a better choice, says Shane Buckley? I would love to see Mourinho back in the Premier League. I think he's box office. And I think that Mourinho at Arsenal, if AFTV thought they had big viewers now, imagine if they had a manager like Jose Mourinho. They would be even more bigger office. I bet Robbie's sat there like this. Please, please sack Emery and give Jose the job. And I think Jose's hinting that he would like that job. What I would say is, I'm glad Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho. And obviously I do banter Arsenal fans. But I also, on this channel, I do try to be, realistic. There are some Arsenal players that I really like. Delph's just gone in on Eriksen there. There's not going to be a yellow card. But I could not think of a more incompatible manager with a Premier League club than Jose Mourinho. When he got sacked at Chelsea and in his time at Manchester United, he basically proved he's out of touch with the Premier League. His old way of playing doesn't work. Also, what Arsenal fans probably haven't figured out is that when Rui Faria left, which was year 2 of his United career, Mourinho went like that and dropped. So unless Mourinho was coming to Arsenal with Rui Faria, I would be terrified of him going to Arsenal if I was an Arsenal fan. And even if he did get Rui Faria, I would be like, how is this guy anywhere near? I mean, it just feels to me like Arsenal fans, they're a bit like some United fans. Let's get rid of Ollie, but who's going to come in? Let's get rid of Emery, but you're going to get Mourinho. He is not an entertaining manager. Well, he is, but his football isn't. So he's totally incompatible with Arsenal, but I just love to see it happen. I'm a United fan, but I really like Troop, says Joe Holdway. Fair enough. And Who Me says, I've got over £5,000 in the index. My big profits are Depay, Maddison, Berardi, Werner and Lewandowski and Gnabry. Well, let us know how much you started off with Who Me, because I did quite big profit lines as well. And Zayn Miassi says, Mark, can you imagine Ty going to see Mourinho after every match as he used to do that with Wenger? I think Arsenal fans just probably are a little bit like United fans when we wanted Mourinho, and you just think he's going to guarantee you trophies. And the reality is, I can understand why they do want him, but the reality is, I think he'd be bloody awful. Sorry, I was just reading some of the replies on my Call of Duty stream there. Virgins. That's all I'm going to say. We're nearly on 97,900 subscribers, by the way. It updates every 100 in the top right-hand corner, so you should see it change over there. Bottom right-hand corner, please do subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get to 98,000 tonight. And Drawty's left me a voice note, which I'm obviously not going to listen to while I'm here. Mourinho is the same defensive, boring coach like Emery, says Jemmy. He won't work at Arsenal. He won't work at Arsenal, but... I don't know what Arsenal fans feel about, really, Mourinho, but he won't work. But I think Arsenal and United are in a similar situation, aren't they? I mean, the interesting thing for me is Spurs. What do Spurs fans think? Have we got any Spurs fans in? What do you think about you at the moment? Have we got any Everton fans in here? I mean, we can all... we're all watching this stream, we're all watching this game, and I would imagine a lot of us are not Everton and Spurs fans, so we're watching this game for a reason, because we love football. That's what this channel's all about. That's football. It's the football games that maybe that you watch that aren't your team, and that's why I started the channel, really, because I watch United. I don't enjoy it, but I've always watched a lot of other football, so that's why we do the watch-alongs and things on here. But looking at the Everton situation, I don't know what Everton fans think about Marco Silva, but as an outsider, he's going to get sacked. He's my prediction. I predicted the Watford manager would get sacked first, and Marco Silva's always been my second manager to get sacked. He will get sacked. He will get sacked. With Pochettino, I don't think Pochettino's going to get sacked, because in the summer he could have gone to Real Madrid or United and you would have got £40 million for him because he was in contract. Daniel Levy is a businessman. Why would he sack someone and have to pay to get rid of them when a few months ago he was going to get 40 million for them? He's just not going to do that. He's going to, a bit like United and Ollie, I think Pochettino will just be given ages and ages of time at Spurs because of what he's done. So I don't see it. But the trouble with Spurs is they're just, to me, they look so lost as a football club. They look lethargic. They look like a team that's been together too long. What do you think of Tielemans as a player, says Dylan, MUFC20? I think Tielemans is a fantastic player and I really wish Manchester United had gone for him. Predictions for Liverpool versus Man City, says Paul McLean. I think if Liverpool win that game, they'll win the league. I think if Liverpool draw that game, they've got one hand on the trophy. And I know it's only November, but I just think that Liverpool and Man City are going to be relentlessly winning games. I mean, look at yesterday's results. They both were losing for a long period of those games and they both came out with 3 points. So Man City have got to win that game. And it was a well-timed winner by Mane, because I think if they'd drawn against Villa, that would have been 2 points dropped and given City a little bit of leeway. But no, City are going to have to catch up with them. Spurs on the attack here, but Delph's just cut it out. So I don't know. I've got a funny feeling Liverpool will get a result. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but I think they will get a result. What else? Would you have predictions for Man United versus Partizan, says Reese. Got no interest in it at the moment, mate. And we will win, because Partizan are shit. Who wins the title, Mark, Liverpool or City? Well, my prediction before a ball was kicked, Mr. Capel, was that Liverpool would win it. And I don't want them to win it, but I did predict Liverpool would win it. I think you can have what you want, and then you can have what your head thinks. And my head was always that Liverpool are going to win it. No chance, Mark. A draw for City is great result. Only 6 points, yeah. And Free Grumpy says, the reason I don't want Jose is because Arsenal are a club that focus on making tactics around the players we have, but Jose is someone that will come in and demand 200 million. Yeah, I don't know why Jose would want the Arsenal job, to be honest with you, but there we go. David Kelleher says, I've been a United fan all my life. I wanted to give Ollie time, but I don't think with time he can improve United. I wouldn't disagree with you, mate. I'm not Ollie out, but I don't think he's the right man, and I know that sounds like a weird message to send, but I just feel that that's the message that Manchester United are sending at the moment. I just don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man for Manchester United. I think they've made a bad mistake. Parallels of stale Spurs team with any other team, says Gold Peace Prosperity. Yeah, definitely there are parallels between United and Spurs. Foul off the ball there by Davinson Sanchez on Richarlison. Mark, do you think Leicester can realistically get top 4, says Joel Morris? Yes. I mean, look, let's just have a quick look at the league table, the way it stands. Thanks for that contribution, Zayn Miasi. But let's just have a quick look at the league table at the moment. So Leicester and Chelsea are on 23 points. I mean, forget Liverpool and Man City. They're going to win the title. That's just the way it's going to go. One of those will win the title. Third and fourth is up for grabs. And at the moment, you've got Leicester and Chelsea on 23 points each. Then you've got Arsenal on 17, who is, Arsenal have just drawn 2 home games. So Arsenal are not consistent. Sheffield United in 6th, they're not going to get top 4. Bournemouth 7th, they're not going to get top 4. Brighton are in 8th, they're not going to get top 4. Crystal Palace are in 9th, they're not going to get top 4. And then you're talking about United and Spurs on 13 points, but that's a 10-point gap on Leicester and Chelsea. So I think they're going to struggle to get top 4. So, actually, I think Leicester have got a very, very good chance. And the reason Leicester have got a great chance, and Brendan Rodgers has experience of this, is that they're only playing 1 game a week. They're not in Europe. So they're just playing 1 game a week, really. So they can focus on giving everything in that 1 game a week. And if you look at Leicester's next few fixtures, I mean, realistically, they can be 9 points ahead of Arsenal next week if they beat Arsenal at Leicester. And Arsenal don't travel well. Now, that becomes a massive problem for Arsenal if it's 9 points. And Arsenal are playing Europa League games as well. Leicester then have got a good run of fixtures. They've got Brighton, Everton, Watford, Villa, Norwich. And then they play Man City on the 21st, which will be a tough game for them. And then they play Liverpool on Boxing Day. So Leicester have got some really winnable fixtures for themselves, which I think is really, really interesting. And, I mean, Chelsea's fixtures, let's have a look at that. This game is bubbling, but not really had any clear-cut chances yet. Chelsea home to Palace, away to Man City, and then West Ham. So Chelsea Chelsea and Leicester just need to keep ticking along, which I think that they will do. The interesting thing for me is that, Brighton are way higher than I thought they were going to be, and they beat Norwich 2-0 yesterday. So Brighton and Sheffield United for me were firm favourites to get relegated this season, and they're both above United and Leicester. United and Spurs, and they're both in comfortable positions. So it's interesting, isn't it? Bennett's an Everton fan. This is going to be interesting. Bennett's an Everton fan. He says, I really think we can turn out season, so hopefully we get a result. I'm a big fan of Silva. What is your opinion on Silva, Mark? To be honest with you, Bennett, I don't watch a lot of Everton, so I can't say anything other than I'm just observing this as an outsider, which I'm sure many people are. My opinion of Everton is that he's spent a lot of money over the last 2 years, but where's the progress? I don't know. Everton don't seem to have got over the loss of Lukaku. And whilst United fans generally celebrate the loss of Lukaku, Everton have never found that goal scorer. And I think for teams like Everton and Bournemouth and Newcastle and West Ham, these sort of mid-table clubs, if you've got a striker who can score you 20 goals a season, you are going to be a club that fights for the top 6, top 8 maybe. But Everton just don't seem to be able to get that together. But it's interesting that an Everton fan wants Marco Silva to do well. And he certainly did do well at Watford at one point. Spurs are on the attack here. Here's Son heading into the box. The space opens up. Ericsson, he's playing rubbish these days, and Everton will clear it. Humi says Saints manager is a favourite to go next ahead of Silva. As for Arsenal, Arteta is still favourite, and Vieira second, then Jose third. And yeah, well look, you know, I think that if Marco Silva loses, he will be sacked tomorrow. I do think that. Who will you prefer to get if Ollie is sacked? Says Demba Dibba. I mean, I'll talk about that on the United stand, but the reality is that Manchester United have got zero appetite to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Nick P. For any Arsenal fans wanting Jose, he will celebrate all your major victories as if he won them on his own. It will all be about him and his profile. Yeah, and we've all been there. The United fans have been there and Chelsea fans have been there. It's not 1-0. You are literally a couple of seconds behind me on your YouTube stream, so it's not 1-0. Spurs are passing it around at the back at the moment, so there's no imminent goal. Son's got it at the moment, and it comes into Ndembele. Spurs looking a little bit more busy in the last 5 minutes. Obviously, no Harry Kane playing for Spurs. Here's Son, shot blocked. Aurier will pick it up. A decent cross, but Pickford's got it. It remains 0-0. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're on 97,900 subscribers, and we are 100 away from 98,000, 2,000 away from 100,000. Unbelievable. 100,000 subscribers for this channel. Unbelievable if we get it. So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. And if you have subscribed, please click the share button and share it on Twitter and Facebook. Both teams are trash. Screw Martin Atkinson, says Andre Mariner. Imagine if it was the real Andre Mariner with some beef with Martin Atkinson. Josh C with the slowest comment or slowest internet in the world. This was a comment he probably made last week. It says Manchester United have drawn Colchester in the Carabao Cup. Yes, mate, that happened on Thursday morning. But thanks for the breaking news. Are you going to do a watch along for the Champions League? Says Mucky Face. I will take a look at the. I don't know, because I definitely won't do one on Tuesday night, because it's bonfire night in England, which you don't get in Ireland and probably not in Europe. But why would you? Because it's celebrating the foil of a plan to blow up Parliament by Guy Fawkes. So we have bonfire night and fireworks. So that's Tuesday night. So I won't be doing a watch along on Tuesday night, I don't think. And I don't. I mean, there's not an amazing amount of brilliant Champions League games this year as well. I don't know why. I think last year there was some really good group stage Champions League games, but this year I think they're a bit run of the mill. I mean, Liverpool Genk, boring. Barcelona Slavia Prague, boring. Dortmund Inter, I mean, that one's quite interesting, to be fair. Chelsea Ajax, 8 o'clock. Well, that one might be quite interesting. Chelsea Ajax on Tuesday. I may do that. And then on Wednesday night, you've got Real Madrid Galatasaray, Bayern Munich Olympiacos, Red Star Spurs, Juventus Lokomotiv, Man City Atalanta, Bayern versus Atletico Madrid. It's just not that exciting. Although Arsenal are playing at 4 o'clock on Wednesday in the Europa League, which is quite interesting. I don't know why that is. But, yeah, it remains 0-0 in this game. Keep the questions coming in. No real clear-cut chances for either team after 20 minutes. It's a stalemate at the moment, which is surprising. I thought that I didn't really fancy these teams to be playing out such a dull first 20 minutes. What's your score predictions for this game, by the way? I never asked anybody. Who me says, Mark, you relax with the football. Zane, how did you walk in date in the park go yesterday? Am I going to watch the new Nightmare on Elm Street, says Ziad. I didn't know they were doing one. Is it with Robert England in it? Good little bit of play there from Walcott, but then a bad pass. Everton trying to come forward. How do you pronounce the surname of the left back for Everton? Is it Dinny or Dean or what? Mark, do you think Leicester can win the league? Says French Fry. No. They've done that. Nobody can win the league apart from Liverpool and Man City because no one's going to have that sort of consistency. A lot of people going for Spurs in this game. JB Music says there'll be under 2.5 goals in this game. 4-2 to Everton, says a Roman Nation. I'll have some of that. I'd like some of that. I think the game needs a goal. Mark, are you doing? No. Do you think Ollie is a broken man after yesterday's result and BBC interview? Says Thank the Universe. I haven't seen his interview on the BBC. I'll have to take a note of that so I can watch it before the 8 o'clock show. I basically watched the game, did the watch along, got in a car and went to the pub. And that was the end of my day. It's Dean Yee. It's Dean Yee. It's D-A. D-A. Dean Yee. Din Yee. Din Yee. Digne. Imagine if someone just tuned in when I was doing that. Digne. Digne. Digne will do. Digne. There we go. Luca Digne. There we go. Thank you everybody who's done that for me. Do you seriously think United's squad is worse than Chelsea's? Says Freddie Mercury. I think United's squad's good. I think it needs improvement. I don't. This is what I mean. If you compare United to Leicester, 10 points behind. Rodgers has been there less time. He's spent less money. He's lost worse players, like he lost Harry Maguire, we lost Herrera. We've spent more. Ollie's been there longer, and we've got a better squad on paper. I agree that Leicester's players and team and manager are performing way better than us, but on paper, United's squad is worth a hell of a lot more than Leicester's. So what's the excuse? What is you can't find an excuse. When I lay it down on the line like that, here's Spurs on the attack, cross in by Lucas Moura. Oh, it's not going to come to anything, I don't think. Oh, they've still kept it on the attack. Aurier, cross comes in. Pickford has to push it away. That was a FIFA 20 punch by Pickford to keep that cross away. Spurs sort of on the front foot a little bit these last few minutes, but can they create a chance? Eriksen looks crap. See where this goes. Haroon keeps saying he's sorry for what he said yesterday. I don't know what he said. I move on from things, Haroon. Spurs are looking the better team at the moment, but unable to create it. So yeah, I think that's going to go out for throw-in from Digne. But yes, from Manchester United's point of view, what I would say is that comparing them to Leicester, United have got the better team on paper, but I agree Leicester are playing way better than us at the moment. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at the club longer than Brendan Rodgers has been. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spent more money than Brendan Rodgers, and yet we are 10 points behind them, and people are saying give him time. I just think it's a right myth. I don't see why. I think the time thing, and I'm going to write this down as well for the show tonight. The time message has been manipulated, and it's been manipulated because the time thing was about winning the title, and now it's about being half decent again. Everton are in here with Richarlison. Will he get a shot away? Good block by Alderweireld. Richarlison playing down the middle is quite interesting. Do you think he works down the middle? And now it's Everton's turn. Sorry, Spurs' turn to have an attack with Lucas Moura. And he's got a foul there from Martin Atkinson. Iwobi will score because it's Spurs, says the guy. Yes, well, Iwobi scored in my game, in my FIFA Predicts game. Not that that means anything. Thanks everyone for tuning in this afternoon. I hope you're having a good afternoon. It's getting, it's starting to get a little bit close to Christmas, isn't it? It's starting to think about Christmas, and it's not that far away. It's been a very quick year, hasn't it? I think the older you get, the quicker they go. What do you feel about the VAR decision on the Firmino goal, Mark, says Narayan? Well, it wasn't given, was it? But you still won the game, so it's sort of irrelevant in many ways, I suppose. I'm not doing No Nut November, no. God, screw that. Quite literally, screw that. The biggest issue at United is the style of play, says Ryan Torley. It seems we haven't coached the players how to break down the bus. No. And also, what I would say is, yet again, with United, this is just one of them sort of fist... It's a wrist exerciser, really. Not for that. But even yesterday, United went 1-0 down before half time, and if you're a United fan, it's a running joke that we always Ollie must just let them go on their phones and do their hair at half time because they always come out and play crap. And yet again we did, even though we were needed to go and get a point. I'm not Ollie out, William, Taylor. I'm going to talk about that on the United stand later. It's a weird situation I have with the Ollie situation, which I'll explain on the United stand. Why give him time if statistically no manager has ever turned it around after a bad start, says Ari Guadala. Exactly, but I suppose United would say, well, this will be the first one that does. And the reality is, they're still talking about Sir Alex Ferguson in 1989. And it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous that you are comparing a manager 30 years ago. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Liam 18 says this game is boring. Well, that's why we've got the chat, isn't it? We're all going to watch. Mike Burton says you're too negative. There's no such thing as being too negative, Mike. There's called disliking somebody's opinion. That's what it is. You can't ever say somebody's too negative because what's your barometer that you're positive? It's just a really dismissive, arrogant, rude way of trying to belittle somebody's opinion because it irritates you. And I'm glad I'm irritating you. I'm not too negative. I was one of the last people to be Mourinho out. I'm not Ollie out. I'm very, very negative towards the football club because it's run very, very badly. And if you think otherwise, I would say that you've got your head up a camel's arse because you're not listening and you're not seeing. But that would be rude of me to say that. What I would say is you've got your opinion and I've got mine. There's no such thing as being too negative. Hey Mark, have you heard Liam Gallagher's new album? Says Alalak Jakaya. I haven't. It's on my list. I may get it for Christmas, to be honest. I just don't get time to do so many things I would like to do, to be honest with you. Did you see Bayern Munich lost 5-1 to Frankfurt, says the Dugout Football Channel? No, but I to be honest with you, Doug, I haven't even looked at the Bundesliga, so I don't even know what's going on with the Bundesliga, if I'm absolutely honest. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've heard that Bayern have lost and drawn quite a few games so far this season, and this happened last year. So Bayern Munich are currently in 4th place, and they are on 18 points. Dortmund are in second with 19, and Borussia Mönchengladbach are top with 22 points. But what'll happen is Bayern Munich tend to have a slow start to the season, and they'll just blast through and win the league. So I don't think they're going to have any real problems, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, I'm not going to get really into the Ollie in out debate tonight on this show. We'll talk about it on the 8 o'clock show. If you want to join me at United Stand, 8 o'clock. And GTA Red Star Gaming says United performances are negativity personified. We See Shaw says, how are you Ollie in? It needs explaining. As I've said, 8 o'clock tonight. I'm not going to get into it too massively now when the whole show tonight is about the pros and cons of United's situation. You know, I'm not repeating myself. Which team playing style would you like United to copy, says Brito FC. There's a yellow card here for for Walcott. Zayn and Arsenal fans will be happy with this. Flying into Ben Davies. He went foot over the ball. I don't think it was malicious, though, to be fair. I just would like United to play an entertaining brand of football. There's nobody's I'd like to copy. I think that United have their own brand of football that they should be playing, and we're not playing it at the moment. My plan, Sahil Shetty, is to do Leicester Arsenal next Saturday at 5:30, and then Liverpool City at 4 o'clock on the Sunday. So I'll do 2 watch-alongs next week because I think those 2 games are cracking. I think in relation to the race for top 4, Leicester are 6 points clear of Arsenal, and they entertain Arsenal. Arsenal have got to win that game just to close it to 3 points. A draw would be good for Leicester. If they beat them, 9 points ahead of Arsenal, they'll be massive favourites for top 4 in November. So that's a massive game. And then Liverpool Man City doesn't get any bigger than that. I think if Liverpool win that, they've almost got the title done in November as well. So yeah, interesting. And another yellow card now for a Spurs player as Everton were trying to break away. Christian Eriksen gets booked. So 2 quick yellow cards there. My opinion on VAR in general is it's a bloody joke. Absolute joke. And Stash87 is shouting Brighton. I never thought I'd give Brighton a shout out, but I am going to give you a shout out because what a season Brighton are having. And you know what? I think football, at times, football makes you look like a genius, and at other times it makes you look like an imbecile. And with my predictions for Brighton and Sheffield United, I look like an idiot. I predicted Liverpool would win the league, so I look good about that. But I also predicted that Brighton and Sheffield United would definitely get relegated. And you'd have to say at the moment, it would be a very big surprise if Brighton and Sheffield United got relegated. I know it's only November, but is it only November? Well, yes, it is, because it's November. But when you're in November, I think that the groove of the season has started to implement itself. It's very clear to me that Southampton and Norwich are going to be real relegation contenders. Everton, Richarlison, straight at the keeper. Cross came in, took it down just ahead of the 6-yard, the penalty box, turned, shot straight at the keeper. It's the first real chance of the game. Cross coming in from Digne. Richarlison takes it down, spins and shoots, but it's straight at the keeper. But it was a good chance, and it remains 0-0. Mark, when he's going for Goldbridge, Cummings back, says Luke. And I know I need to do a goal in for Goldbridge. It's just time. I will get it done. But yes, I must just say, yeah, Brighton and Sheffield United, I think they're both on 15 points. They're both in the top 10. Ericsson into the box. They've won a corner. Fantastically, they've done fantastically well. And I think that United entertain Brighton next week. So I'm a little bit... I think many United fans fancied that I thought we'd beat Bournemouth, and I was like, yeah, we'll definitely beat Brighton. And now I'm like, well, how good are Brighton? Because if Brighton are half decent and they're well organised, they might get something out of us. Mohamed Hadoud says, Mark, thoughts on Pulisic scoring again yesterday? Very good player, Pulisic. Very good player. I wish United had signed him. I don't know. I mean, it's just typical of United not to sign somebody like that, isn't it? But I would like United to have signed him. But he's doing a good job at Spurs. No, he's not. Chelsea. I've disappeared. Yeah, it's a big weekend in the Premier League next weekend, isn't it? Leicester, Arsenal, and then Liverpool, Man City. And I can't wait for both of those games. I think I'm very excited about both of those matches, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be real good. Do you think we have any shot of getting Brendan Rodgers in the summer, says Charles Crane? Look, Brendan Rodgers left Celtic, a massive football club, to go to Leicester because he wanted to get in the Premier League and start proving himself after what happened with Liverpool. In relation to sizes of club, Celtic are a much bigger club. Everton on the attack here. Celtic are a much bigger club than Leicester, but the Premier League is a much bigger league than Celtic will ever play in. So, good play here by Everton. Digne, cross, corner. Good play. It's going end to end at the moment. Is Brendan Rodgers going to want to stay at Leicester for the rest of his career? No. I think there are certain jobs that Brendan Rodgers would love to take. I think he'd love the Arsenal job, and I don't know why Arsenal wouldn't consider him. I think he'd love the Spurs job, and I don't know why Spurs wouldn't consider him. I think he'd love the Liverpool job again. I think he'd love the United job. I think he'd love any of the top 6 jobs, and I think that's his aspiration. But I don't think he's going to go anywhere this season because he's only just gone there. He's not been there a year yet. Corner to Everton. Can we get a goal? Cross comes in. It's up. And Everton Spurs will clear that, and it's going to drop nicely for Ericsson here, he's going to need a runner, and he's won a throw in. Michael Andrew says that United have got 0 chance against Brighton. I think we'll get 3 points. I think if he lost to Brighton, he'd have to get sacked, wouldn't he? I don't know. Little bit of an update. We're on 97,950 subscribers, so we only need 50 more to hit 98,000. So please subscribe if you are new. Bottom right hand corner, subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't subscribed, please do share the video as well. Link under there's a share button underneath. We need a Call of Duty themed studio. Drawty and Marky, says Gold Piece Prosperity. Yeah, I did a bit of Call of Duty this afternoon on my channel, Mark Goldbridge. I will do some more. I mean, look, I'm not bad at it, but I'm a bit of an amateur when I'm using a sniper rifle optic on an AK-47. But I did okay. There were some good bits and bad bits. Do a KSI versus Logan Paul watch along. I'm not going to bother doing that when True Geordie's doing it. $10 to go at half time. It's going very, very quickly, this game. Do I rate Iwobi? Says Passawaz 12 Issa. I think he's found his level. I think he's a bit like Walcott. He's a bit like Richarlison. They all play for the same club. He's not. I don't think he's a top 6 player, if I'm absolutely honest. Do I like Birmingham City as a club, Liam? I've got nothing against them. I would prefer Villa. I think if I know, we'll do a little bit of a game here then. So we'll pick 2 teams from the same area, and you can say which one you prefer more. So if you said to me Birmingham or Villa, I would go Villa. If you said to me Bristol City or Bristol Rovers, I would say Bristol City. I don't know why. That would be what I would prefer. Everton have got a good attack here though, and it is with Iwobi. He's got a little bit of space. Comes in on his right foot, and Spurs clear from the header. There's a player down in the box here for Everton. I don't know what he wants, and Spurs have won the free kick. And it's Andre Gomez who's down. And Martin Atkinson, I think, is just going to check and see. Yes, Anna Rudd, I've already confirmed Arsenal versus Leicester will be a watch-along next week at 5:30. And obviously Liverpool City on the Sunday. Hearts or Hibs? Hearts for me. Cardiff or Swansea? Swansea. Saints or Portsmouth? Southampton. Newcastle or Sunderland? I like this. Newcastle or Sunderland? Newcastle. I don't really like Sunderland, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to keep my eye on here to see what happened. I don't think there's no penalty issue. VAR is not going to check it. Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday, says Callum. Sheffield Wednesday. I've always liked Sheffield Wednesday. Juventus or Torino, says Nova5. Definitely Juventus. Juventus has been my club for years in Italian football. Celtic or Rangers. No comment. I'm not getting involved in that because it just gets political. I do have a preference and there's a reason for it. Actually, I will give you my preference. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to do it because people will say, "Oh, for religious reasons you support that club," and I'm not going to do it. Gomez or Ericsson to United to play centre attacking midfielder, says James Murphy. Gomez. Why would we want Gomez? Blackburn or Burnley, says Ryan Edwards. Probably Blackburn. QPR or Fulham? QPR. Atletico or Real? Real. AC Milan or Inter Milan? AC Milan, definitely. Dundee United or Dundee? Dundee United, because I remember watching them in the, I think it was the Cup Winners' Cup in the late 80s in their orange kit. Five minutes to go to half time. Lovely ball out wide there from Son. But Spurs' problem is they create very little. And again, I've got to ask the question: why does Dele Alli play football? He's absolutely wank, isn't he? He really isn't very good. But Spurs remind me a lot of United. I mean, they've got a good squad, but they've just got no cutting edge at all. The similarities are ridiculous. So, Everton have got a cross to put into the box here. We're 25 subscribers away from 98,000 subscribers. So please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Be nice to hit that before half time. What do you want to talk about in half time? Because I don't think there's a lot to talk about in the game. So give me some topics for half time that we can talk about. There's not really been any major talking points in this half. I think it's just two teams lacking confidence, lacking a cutting edge, going up against each other, both putting a lot of effort in, but neither really having any quality. Luton or Watford? Probably Luton, because it's all about what you had when you grew up. Luton were a Division 1 side when I was growing up on their plastic pitch. I remember when QPR used to play on a plastic pitch. You see, all you young'uns, you'll be like, what is he on about? During the war, when I was a lad... Oh, good shot there from Richarlison. It's just gone over. So Everton have been the ones knocking on the door. Only one striker or midfielder in the January for United. Only one striker or midfielder in January for United is James Murphy. Midfielder, you know, the midfield's crap. I mean, look, I said I'll say this because I'm not going to say it tonight anyway on the show. With regards to United, I know that McTominay's been doing well, and I know that Fred's been doing well, and I know Pereira's been doing well. Let's forget the performances yesterday. But what I've said is, how do we know that those doing well performances are good enough for Manchester United? You know, those doing well performances could be the level of a Watford or a Championship club. You know, do we know that McTominay and Fred are Premier League players just because they do well in a United shirt every now and again? We don't know what we're gauging these levels at. We don't know how good these players are. They do some good things and we go, oh, that's good. But we're such a bad team, we don't know what good is. Is a good performance in a United shirt making them a top 4 player? Or is it just a good performance? Like McTominay played well against Chelsea on Wednesday, but it was a cup game against the reserve Chelsea side, you know, stroke half first team side. It's so difficult with United to know what our level is with our players. Lasagna or spaghetti bolognese, says a blue whale. Hey, lasagna's the king. I love lasagna. Lasagna is one of my favourite dinners. We've hit 98,000 subscribers. I've just seen it happen there. So please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. This is going to be 0-0 at half time. Fred can't pass the ball. Says, yeah, but you know, with Fred yesterday, and I won't talk about this on the United stand tonight either because it's not on the topic and there's loads of topics to talk about. With Fred yesterday, you've got people putting out tweets of his stats about pass completion, distance covered, tackles, this, that and the other. He played shit. Like, I've said to people so many times, sometimes stats can really betray the true story, but sometimes stats can absolutely tell a totally wrong story. Like, mate, you know, pass completion rate for Fred, but what passes were these? Because he gave the ball away. Fred had a bad game yesterday, but there's people tweeting out his stats. Like, it makes me laugh. So we're going to believe a computer's stats against our own eyes. Like, everybody watched the game yesterday and know that Fred played badly, but then you've got somebody telling you you're wrong to think he played badly because look at these stats. Shove your stats up your arse. Like, we all watched the game. He didn't play well. Neither did McTominay. Neither did Pereira. It's one, you know, as a trio, they played very badly yesterday. It happens. Bruno Fernandes or Wilfred Ndidi, says Nathan. I'd like both at United, to be honest with you. I'd say at the moment, United probably do need Bruno Fernandes more than they need a CDM. Thomas Williams, you're drunk. There's only one answer to that. Do you think Liverpool should improve their midfield or look to replace Lovren? I think Liverpool are absolutely fine at the moment. I don't need to tell them to do anything. Timo Werner or Haaland at United, says Charles Crane. I would take Werner, to be honest with you. I'd take Werner. Do I think that Ndembele has been good for Spurs, says Michael Dunn? I think he's come into a very difficult situation. It's a bit similar to Dan James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire at United. I think they're all good signings, but I think they've come into situations that they probably didn't expect. You know, clubs in a crisis. It's difficult when you're a new player coming into a club that's in crisis because you're trying to bed yourself into a new environment, but then everyone else is panicking around you. You know, you want to come into a stable club. You know, you look at what Rodri came into with Man City. You're coming into a really positive, confident outfit, and you can relax your way into that. Best Australian to play in the Premier League is Paul DeLuca. Off the top of my head, I mean, Tim Cahill would be a good candidate. I think Cahill. I mean, I do think Harry Kewell's been good. Mark Bosnich, I suppose you'd have to put him in there, but it is half time in this game. But I think Cahill, because he did it at a club that was not that fashionable and he was so good in the air. We're at half time, so chuck me some questions because there's not a lot I can talk to you about that half. It was I think both teams have been willing, but there's just not enough quality in the final third off either side, and I think you can definitely see that Spurs, you can definitely see Spurs problems, can't you, with regards to why they're struggling is they're just not creating enough anywhere near it. Viduka was good. Yeah, I'd agree. Viduka was good. But yeah, I mean, look, first thing I wanted to talk about half time, and it's relevant in relation to Spurs. This top four race, I think there is this perception that maybe Leicester City will drop away at some point, but they're currently 10 points ahead of United and Spurs. They're 6 points ahead of Arsenal, and they're playing Arsenal next week. If they beat Arsenal next week, they'll be 9 points clear of Arsenal, and probably still 10 points. Well, they would be at least 10 points clear of United if they win next week, and Spurs. So that, to me, you're going into another international break, then it's the end of November, and Leicester are 10 points clear of Arsenal, United and Spurs. That, to me, means that, yeah, they're only playing one game a week. It's not like after Christmas they've got to go and play the latter stages of the Europa League. They're going to be playing one game a week through February, March and April. So, unless Leicester have a big injury crisis, and remember, Leicester can buy in January as well, I think Leicester have got a great chance of getting top four. I think Arsenal have got to start motor. As a United fan, I don't see United getting top four this season. We're not good enough. We can lose to anybody, as we've shown already. Spurs could sort it out, but they don't look like they're going to sort it out anytime soon. And when they do sort it out, the gap could be too big to sort it out. Arsenal have still very much got a chance of top four. 6 points can be turned around. They need to get something at Leicester next week and then build on that. But what Arsenal can't afford to do is have another couple of bad results in the next month. Because if Leicester keep winning, that gap's going to get bigger and bigger. So I think Leicester have got a very, very good chance of top four at the moment. And obviously Chelsea as well. And Chelsea don't look like they're going to take their foot off the pedal. So right now, if you're asking me who's going to get top four, Chelsea or obviously Man City and Liverpool will, who's going to get the other two spots? I think Chelsea, I'd be about 70% sure, maybe even 80% sure they're going to get it. And Leicester, I'd say 50-50 at this point. And which I think Leicester would, you know, if I said to a Leicester fan, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting top four, you'd take it. And that's pretty good, isn't it? So it's the inconsistency of Arsenal and Spurs that's going to give Leicester a real opportunity. I don't put United in the race because, you know, United, at the moment, we're a mid-table club. Red Baron says, as United fans, should we just accept a fall from grace like AC Milan and just admit we have had it good, or should we fight as fans? 6 years this has been going on, and I feel apathetic right now. Well, Red Baron, I think that's the one thing I would say, and we're going to talk about it at 8 o'clock on the United Stand tonight, so join me for the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, out, Woodwards, players, everything. We're going to talk about that at 8 o'clock. But what I would say to any United fan is, please don't be apathetic. Please don't just sit there and accept what we are as a club, because the minute you do that is the minute that the Woodward and the Glazers have won, because they're still making loads of money but they're not getting the pressure. This is a disgrace where Manchester United are as a football club. It is unacceptable to finish the season like we did last year and then take it into this season and be even worse. You know, losing to Bournemouth. Of course you can lose to Bournemouth. We can't be that arrogant. Anybody could lose to Bournemouth. But losing to Bournemouth, Newcastle, Palace and West Ham in the first 10 games of the season is unacceptable. And there is a lot of apathy amongst United fans, and it's not acceptable. You look at Arsenal fans, they're only 6 points off the top four. They've drawn their last two games, and their fans, a lot of their fans are saying Emery out. Like, we can call Arsenal flip-flop and we can call them over-exaggerators, and I think, yeah, they probably are. But they're trying to get rid of a manager who's got them in the, very, very close to top 4. Whereas United fans were basically a mid-table club losing to rubbish, and people are going, oh, it's fine. Don't be. No, I think the fans need to be angry about this situation, because it's that pressure that will make change. Either Ollie will change it, or Woodward will change it, or there'll be change. But we need to put that pressure on. I am very excited for the Irishman, Ryan Torley. I don't know when it's out, but I'm really excited for watching that. There's so much good TV at the moment. I'm currently watching. I've not finished watching Dublin Murders. I'm watching World at War, which is very good on a Sunday night, with Sean Bean in it. Made in Chelsea. The Only Way is Essex. I'm joking. Walking Dead, I haven't even started it yet. There's some really cracking series on Netflix I want to watch. There's just loads and loads. I just don't have enough time. I don't have time. Dele or Lingard, says William Taylor. They're both crap for me. They're both crap. Probably Dele Alli, but they're both crap. What were your thoughts on Ben Stokes' innings in the summer, says William Buckley? It was marvellous. And did I watch the rugby yesterday? Yes, I did. Ray Reddy, very disappointing. Better team won. You just have to move on. Rio Mia says, you've lied about hobnobs. I lost mine in my tea. I tell you what, how long did you leave it in there? Because any biscuit's gonna disintegrate in a hot cup of tea, but a hobnob will last longer than I wish I had some hobnobs now. Please do go and check out my Call of Duty stream as well, and if anyone can help me with how I need to improve it, because somebody was talking about you need to change your settings for a game like that. But that's on the Mark Goldbridge channel. If you want to go and watch me play a bit of Call of Duty, I will be doing it again. Who do I think is going to win this Gracie tie? I mean, look, Everton have been the better side, but they've been far from dominant. There's not really been a clear-cut chance. Spurs have done sod all, and I predicted Spurs would lose at Anfield and lose at Goodison Park, because that's been their last 2 games. So I think Spurs have been woeful. I would like United to play Spurs now, actually, because I think we'd have a chance. Emre Kappa says Sayonku or Maguire. I mean, look, I don't. As a United fan, I don't really get why there's so much scrutiny around Harry Maguire. I think Harry Maguire's been decent for United. He made a mistake with the Batshuayi goal on Wednesday, but apart from that, I think he's been steady. I think it's very, very similar to Ndembele, where he's trying to settle himself into a club that's in turmoil. So that is difficult for him. But I would go Harry Maguire. I think Harry Maguire's a very, very good player. I just don't. I think again, it's shocking that United have not got the best out of Harry Maguire. You go and buy one of the best aerial players in the league and don't play to those strengths in any way. I did watch El Camino Often's 1-1. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good wrap-up story. But it was basically just an episode of Breaking Bad. Did they need to make it? I don't think they did. Did it do any damage making it? I don't think it did. I thought it was all right. Who me? Ericsson looks a shadow of his former self all season. Either this contract issue and transfer has gone to his head, or he's been found out. Maybe both. I think he's just unsettled. I don't think he's motivated. I've said this before. We saw it with De Gea last year. With high-end sport, even if you have a 5% drop off in high-end sport, you will suddenly look very, very crap. And I think that's what's happened with Christian Eriksen. You've got a player there who has had a drop off, and he's being exposed because of it. Mark, what formation do you think suits United apart from 4-3-3? Well, 4-3-3 is what suits Manchester United, Abdul, not 4-2-3-1 that we're playing at the moment with 2 holding midfielders. I'm just watching an advert for Call of Duty, by the way. You can watch me play a bit of Call of Duty on Mark Goldbridge channel. Yeah, I enjoyed it this afternoon, even though I was a bit shit. I was nervous. It's one thing sat there with no pressure playing, then it's very different when you're playing with 1,000 people watching you. That was a bit of pressure. I do watch Questions. I'm Ra M. Yes, I'm quite into my politics at the moment, but I won't impress my feelings on it with you. I actually at this point, I don't actually know who I'm going to vote for in the election, but I will definitely vote, and I would urge you all to vote, and I would urge you not to vote on past preferences, because I think this is a Brexit vote. This is a Brexit election, and you need to vote for what you want in Brexit, because ultimately, whoever gets in, I want a majority to who can actually make the decision. That's what I want. So I will be thinking about it over the coming weeks. She was only 17 years old, says Dylan Hanafi. I told you not to blow the bloody doors off. How many millions need to be spent for United to get back, says James Murphy. I've said 600 million. I've said that quite often. Over probably 2 or 3 years. Kane's been awful, says Zoab. It's almost been like he's not playing. He's been like the invisible man. Spurs fans say who? Actually, for my purposes, and I know a lot of you will not be from the UK, but for those who are, just as a, this is great because you get polls and everything. Are you Remain or Brexit? Just write it in the live comments, just so I've got an idea. I don't want to see knobhead names about prime ministers or anything like that. I can't be doing with this Team Corbyn shit or whatever that's all about. I think it's idiocy because you're not looking at policies, etc. I don't want to get into that. I just want to know: are you pro or Remain? I know it's nothing to do with football. I'm just interested. And I'm not going to shout people out for it because it's not fair. I just want to grab. And as Tom Gray says, that's confidential. Yeah, Tom, when I ask people to do it, nobody's there with a gun at your head saying type it. If you don't want to type it, don't type it. The people who want, some people are very proud to type it, some aren't. So it is interesting because it is roughly 50-50-50. Yeah, it is. Which is what the vote was a few years ago. That was the whole point of me actually asking the question. I just wanted to see if there was a defined change in what people want. But actually, it's still very 50-50, which is what it was. Which is what I would say, just very, very quickly on that, is it's a very dangerous thing, isn't it, for those people who want another people's vote? Because when you live in a democratic society, it's like, well, if you have a vote on something and then you have another vote on something and it's clearly going to be around 50-50 again, what about those losers? Would they say, well, let's wait 3 years and do it again? It's a really, really odd situation. What I always said with what they should have done with it is actually had a threshold, because if you'd said it will only happen if over 60% vote for it or something like that, I think that would have been a better idea. But I don't know. It's interesting. KSI or Logan Paul, I would hope that most people are going with KSI because he's British. Nothing against America, but you know, he's our one, isn't he? I don't watch basketball. Can you play story mode on Call of Duty, says Luke Endola. A lot of people are asking me to do that. Maybe I could. AW says, have you heard of did you hear about Timo Werner? I did. He's a very good footballer. I've heard of him. Chicken on or off the bone, says Ryan Torley. We're getting some good questions here. You can tell the game's been crap. We're getting some good questions here. Off the bone. I prefer all my meat off the bone. Yeah, unless it's a rib. I like ribs on the bone. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a rib. Aubameyang or Kane, and Arsenal or Spurs, says that guy Roku. From a Manchester United point of view, would I want Aubameyang or Kane? I want Kane because I think Kane would suit what United need more in relation to his strength and his age. So it would be Kane, but I do like Aubameyang. Arsenal or Spurs? It's always been Spurs for me because Arsenal are more of a rival for United than Spurs. So I find Spurs less offensive. So Kane and Spurs, but I do think that he's a good player. Next weekend, what a weekend. Leicester, Arsenal, Wolves, Villa, Liverpool, Man City. United are playing Brighton at 2 o'clock, which is obviously not going to be on the telly again. Woohoo! United not on the telly again. Great. What do you think of potential United takeover, says Sandeep? Tell you what I think of it. It's a load of shit. It's not going to happen. You've all bought a load of shite. What's Ollie's best 11, says William Taylor? The team yesterday, but with Pogba in it instead of Pereira. and he still can't get us to play well. Thoughts on Aubameyang and Lacazette not signing a new contract because they want Champions League football, says Kingy Cairo. It's the modern game. It's the modern game. It's the modern game. It's the modern game where footballers have all the power. Welcome to the world of what was always going to happen when football has got so much money in it. It's called football for a reason, and footballers have too much power. But you could flip it the other way and say they're ambitious. They want to play at the highest level. Why should they have... I mean, are Aubameyang and Lacazette closet Arsenal fans? I'm sure they're Arsenal fans at the moment because you're paying their wages. But ultimately, if Real Madrid rang them up and said, we want you to come and play for us, I think they'd be gone. That's just the loyalty of the modern footballer. Would you ever go vegetarian, says Ray ML. I do like vegetarian food. I do like vegetarian food, so I don't think... I have got no aspirations to do it. I would never say never, though. Second half is about to kick off. Make sure you subscribe to Channel if you do, bottom right hand corner. We're only 2,000 subscribers away from 100,000, which is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. We could do it by Christmas. We should do it by Christmas. So please subscribe and please keep sharing. Bottom right hand corner. Next weekend we're definitely going to do Leicester versus Arsenal at 5:30 on Saturday, and we're definitely going to do Man City Liverpool, or Liverpool Man City because it's at Anfield on the Sunday. Double header, two very, very big games. We'll be doing both of those on here on That's Football. Midweek, I don't know. I don't know what to do midweek. I will think about it. There's not a lot of Champions League games that are jumping out at me, to be honest. I've not been impressed by the Champions League group stage at all this year. I think the groups are a bit boring. That wasn't a Trump. It was my chair. You're not going to believe me. There's a foul off the ball here, but Spurs are going to play on. What's your underrated quick meal? Egg and chips for me, says Steve Wynyard. That's a good question. Quick meal for me would be beans on toast with cheese, or beans on toast with an egg. I might have it for tea. Thoughts of Fred being scapegoated yesterday, says Justin Ayobanya. I don't think he was scapegoated. I thought he was crap. Stats can lie. I thought he was, I know the stats look good, but I watched the game. I thought he was crap yesterday. I thought McTominay was crap as well. I wouldn't say he was any crapper than McTominay, but I thought they were both crap. You're playing Bournemouth. But I think they've both got mitigating circumstances because they've both been forced to play 3 games in 6 days, which I think is bad management. And I think it's very, very hard when Bournemouth have had a week off and you've played 3 games in 6 days. So I think, you've got to say that Fred and McTominay have been doing quite well, but I thought they were both awful yesterday. And I don't think stats change that at all. Spurs trying this stupid thing of passing out from the back here, which I don't know why they do it, because Everton have now won it high up the pitch. And Pochettino's always done this, and I've never understood it. I remember them going to City 2 or 3 years ago, and they got absolutely pummeled, and he continued to pass out from the back. And it's an odd thing. I mean, I've got no problem with passing out from the back, but what I would say is just mix it up every now and again. Who do I think is going to win the Euros, says Puckoff. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think France are obviously going to be favourites. I think Portugal have got a very good team, but I don't think that they'll retain it. England, I think England won't win it. So yeah, I think probably France. I don't think Germany or Spain will get anywhere really. Arsenal versus Vitoria, please can you react to that, says that guy Rocco. Why? It's not happened yet. What I want to react to is a goal in this game, because I think Spurs just do not look like scoring. Which from a United point of view is not bad. Is not a bad thing, because if Spurs were to win, they'd put United down to 11th. Any other result and United will stay 10th. Belgium are a decent shout, Ina Moran. And Siege Gaming says Netherlands as an outsider, yeah. Come on Everton, it beat this pub team, says Zayn Miassi. Everton have definitely been the better side, and they're really working hard. And they've got a good home record, but you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. Vincent Kagwami says, Ali or Lingard, Ericsson or Ozil, who is better? Well, I'd say at the moment Ozil's better than Ericsson, although for the last 2 years it would have been Ericsson. And at the moment I'd say Muhammad Ali's better than bloody Lingard, and he's been dead for years. So I'd say Dele Alli, definitely. Are you Wally out, says Vashi. We'll be talking about this at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. It's going to be a good show. We've all had a bit of time to think. 8 o'clock tonight on that. Giovanni Moral says that France will win the Euros. Be interested to see what happens when Pogba comes back, as to whether he's got, it's a good break for Pogba, isn't it? I know he's been injured, but it's a good break for him mentally and physically, whether he'll come back like firing on all cylinders, or whether he'll pick up another injury because he doesn't want to be here. Haunted Radio says that my grandfather told me Man City were not a thing when United won the treble. Well, they were and they weren't. I mean, Man City have always been about, but in 99 I haven't got a bloody clue what league they were in, because City only became relevant when they got that money. Is Potter's job on the line today, says Darren Fitzgerald? No. I mean, Daniel Levy could have got good money for Pochettino as a manager in the summer from Real Madrid or United. He's not about to sack him and pay him off 3 months later. So they'll stick with him until it's impossible. But and I think Spurs are like United. They're never going to get that bad with the quality of players they've got. They're never going to get so bad that they're going to get relegated. But they are poor at the moment. I mean, look at the signings he made. Ndembele. Right, here's a chance for Son. It's a good ball from Dele Alli. Son. Oh, how's Martin Atkinson not given a penalty there? Ericsson, well, they're checking it on VAR, but he didn't fancy it to be a penalty here. Whoa. He does hit him, but I think it's going to be more of a dive. That's a penalty, says JB. Well, I think it's a penalty because he rolls into him and takes his leg. But it's the exaggeration of the contact act to it. I think it's a penalty because it's he has hit him, but it's the way he catches his leg after. He does catch his leg twice, and Son goes down like he's been shot. But I think it is a penalty because there is contact there. There's contact on his leg. I think it's got to be a penalty, really. I don't think he'll get. I don't think it will get given. Heard Zayn Miasi put a 5 million bid in for MUFC. I got to say, I'm going to tweet this as well. I've got to say, how is that not a penalty? But Liverpool got one against Leicester. But Liverpool got one against Everton. I think it's got to be a penalty. It's shocking, isn't it? I've had enough of it. I'm not even a Spurs fan, and I've absolutely had enough of VAR. I never wanted it in the first place. And what annoys me as a football fan is that it's the inconsistency. You cannot understand why that's not been given. I mean, I can see people in the comments saying he goes down too easy, but Mane went down too easy 3 weeks ago, in the last minute at Anfield with Leicester, and I said that's a penalty. It's exactly the same thing. So I just don't know what to say about VAR anymore, because it's inconsistent, and I just feel sorry for fans, because I feel sorry for Everton fans, I feel sorry for Spurs fans, and I feel sorry for the viewer, because you're watching it and you're going, it's subjective, and VAR should not be subjective. VAR should be letter of the law. That's a penalty, not he goes down too easy, or not. It's not clear and obvious. Is it a foul? And for me, there is contact twice on Son there, so that's a foul. It's a foul in the box, and a player's got every right to go down for it. So I just don't know. But for all those people saying he goes down too easy, well, all I'm going to say to you is, why did VAR give a penalty to Liverpool against Leicester at Anfield 3 weeks ago, when Mane got slightly touched on his leg and dived down? And Spurs nearly score from across there, but they don't. It's the inconsistency. And look, please keep writing never a penalty in the live comments. I'd love it, because you're either an Arsenal fan or an idiot, because you're not listening to what I'm saying. Spout letter of the law to me. Spout he simulated the contact, but there is contact. But tell me why Mane got his penalty given, and I thought it was quite right to get given a penalty because there was contact on him 3 weeks ago against Leicester, and yet there's more contact on Son and he doesn't get the penalty. That's what I'm talking about, and that's the problem with VAR, because we may as well not have VAR. We may as well let Martin Atkinson think it wasn't a penalty and we play on, because VAR today doesn't give the penalty to Son, but 3 weeks ago it does give it to Mane, and there's no difference in the foul. They're both contact, and they're both probably exaggerated by the player who feels the contact, but there is no consistency. It just doesn't it makes no sense to me. And look, putting a comment in there saying no penalty, it's not, one, it won't get read out, but two, you're being an idiot, because you're not actually explaining why it's not a penalty. And then when you do, I'll probably say, well, why was Mane's a penalty from VAR then 3 weeks ago? And there's probably other examples of it. Why was Dan James's penalty last week against Norwich a penalty then? The same sort of things. Contact. I totally agree that Son's exaggerated it. I totally agree that Dan James exaggerated it, and I totally agree that Mane exaggerated it. But 2 of those penalties were given by VAR, and then today they're not giving it. So as a fan, I'm like, I don't even know what the rule is now, because I've seen 2 penalties given for that, and then today I'm seeing no penalty given for it. It's the inconsistency. It's just inconsistent, and I don't like. I thought VAR should not be inconsistent. VAR should be, that's a penalty. Sorry, Martin, you're a prat. That's a penalty. That's what it should be there for. And yet again, you've got this VAR monitor that no referee will go and check. It's weird. Romeo KGT says it was the momentum of Mina that caused the foul. Mate, that doesn't make it not a foul, mate. Just because it's somebody's momentum, and there is no such thing as deliberate fouls. Like, fouls can be deliberate or accidental. It's still a foul. Momentum. Oh, I was following through with my momentum when I fouled him. Yeah, you fouled him. It's still a foul, so that's not a thing. Sahil Shetty says, Mark, the problem is not VAR, it's the people behind it. Exactly. That's what I mean. If it was a computer decision, yeah. Exaggerating penalties should be simulation, a red card and a 3-game ban, says Shells HD. I think we're walking into a dangerous area with this exaggeration anyway. So what we're now saying is, there's contact on you, but we're deciding that you've exaggerated it. That's a very dangerous thing to be deciding when there clearly is contact. I think diving should always just be no contact. There was no contact there, he's dived. Red card, yellow card, whatever you want to give. But deciding somebody's diving when there is contact there, I think that's a very dangerous game. Because how do you decide that? Some people, the penalty against Chelsea was a joke yesterday, says Brandon Gilles. VAR is more inconsistent than Rashford, says Rui Newman. Just because there is contact doesn't mean it's a foul. It's a dive, and Son should be booked, says Chris Mellor. Yeah, but you're not answering the question, Chris. Why is the penalty given for Mane and Dan James, but not given for Son then in the last 3 weeks? You're not answering the question. The Watford penalty yesterday was the worst, says Marvin Millen. I haven't seen it. Your thoughts on Martin Atkinson trying to sabotage Liverpool, says man like Rudolph. I don't know. VAR, yeah, we've read that one. What's your general opinion on VAR? Jesse Bootlegs. Well, I think anybody who's been watching this channel over the last 6 months, I don't like VAR. I don't like VAR. I never wanted it to come in. I think VAR stops the game and slows it down, which I do watch a bit of rugby, and I think it slows that game down, but you always get the right decision. We're slowing football down for a wrong decision or an inconsistent decision. So that's my question with VAR. What's the point in VAR? Because we're not even getting clear-cut decisions. We're getting subjective. We're basically getting a human error on the pitch that then they check with another human off the pitch who also makes an error but slows the game down. So I hate VAR. I don't want VAR. I never wanted VAR. We're not using it properly. Martin Atkinson cost Arsenal versus Palace is an absolute disgrace, says Archie. And, you know, I totally understand that. Of course, there's going to be people saying it's not a penalty because they dislike Spurs or because they like Everton. That's tribal. I totally get that. But I don't really have any preference of who wins this game. I'm not bothered. So, this channel for me really is just about me watching games of football that I watch. There'll be occasions when I want one team to win over another. But I want Leicester to beat Arsenal next week. But in all honesty, I mean, this could be a penalty VAR decision here. I think that looked like a penalty there. Are they going to review this on the VAR on Richarlison? I thought that looked like a penalty as well. I feel like the other European countries do VAR way better than us English, says Red Baron. Well, then I don't think they're even going to review the Richarlison one. A lot of people in the live comments are saying it should be reviewed, but it's not going to be. Too long has passed. I could be a ref because they use VAR for literally everything, says Zaf Dogger. I actually, Zaf, I disagree with you. I don't think the referees in the Premier League want to use VAR at all. Oh, goal! What a save by Gazzaniga from Richarlison. Cracking save. A similar shot to the first half, but he connects with it a lot better. It's Digne again who cuts it back. He cut the one back in the first half, and Richarlison hits it well, but the keeper makes a save. Good play by Everton. Oh, I've missed the penalty thing now. Let's have a look. Richarlison. How is that? How does VAR not review that on Richarlison there? Here's Lucas Moura. Oh, he's not got that. Little ball over the top. I'm just baffled. Absolutely baffling. I don't know. To me, look, I can't tell whether that Richarlison one is a Stonewall penalty, but it definitely needed to be reviewed by VAR. It's madness. Absolute madness. Here we go. Dele Alli, he's too slow. He scored! Oh, good goal! He is better than Lingard. He is definitely better than Lingard. He's took that really well, and Spurs have scored, and the game has started to stretch itself. Son and Dele Alli's now lying on the bed, lying on the grass as if he's going to sleep. I don't know what he's on about, but I think it's a mistake by Iwobi. What's Iwobi doing? Says Sports, and it's 1-0 to yeah. Ali scores, assist from Iwobi. He took it well. I'm glad I haven't tweeted anything negative about Dele Alli today, because he actually took that goal quite well. You know, actually, you could compare that with Lingard yesterday when Brandon Williams put him through and he totally messed up the situation. And then, you know, Dele Alli gets the opportunity and he puts it away. So 1-0 to Spurs. We need to change the score. It's a good goal. A good goal. I can't argue. And Spurs now have put United down into 11th place. Can Iwobi work his way back into this game? Can Everton work their way back into this game? Not with balls like that. Half an hour to go. Very big goal for Spurs. He's a bad referee though, isn't he? Martin Atkinson, he's right up there with... I've never liked Martin Atkinson. I just think he's a crap referee. And he's survived way too long at this level. He's been awful for years, and he seems to have been around for years as well. But it's 1-0. It's 1-0 to Spurs. And a well-taken goal by Ali after a mistake by Iwobi feeding the ball. I think it was to Eriksen or Son, who then fed Ali in, and he rounded an Everton player and hit it low. He took it well. I will give him that. He took it well. One 0. And I tell you what, we are looking at a scenario now whereby Marco Silva's job has to be on the line. He's got 25 minutes for his team to turn this around, because if they don't, I feel that we'll be in a scenario where he'll be sacked. I said that before the game, and I'll say it again now. 1-0 to Spurs. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll be doing FIFA on here tomorrow lunchtime, episode 6 of the FIFA career mode. So we'll do that tomorrow lunchtime. But crack 2 watch-alongs next weekend. I'm really looking forward to Leicester versus Arsenal at 5:30 next Saturday, and this time next week we'll be doing Liverpool versus Man City. 2 crackers to finish us off before the international break. The final international break as well of the year. Be glad to get them done. But have Everton got an answer? I think if Spurs win this game, Marco Silva will be sacked by tomorrow morning. Thanks for the contribution, Barton 00. Appreciated. Leslie Lai, I do like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. If anybody's not watched it yet, I did do a Call of Duty Modern Warfare stream this afternoon on my channel, the Mark Goldbridge channel. My plan is to build it out and actually start getting team deathmatch teams of people that we can play and do it live. That's my plan. Mopper Top says, Mark, everything is reviewed. Just because you don't see them reviewing it doesn't mean they haven't. I know that. But I felt that foul on Richarlison was good enough that the referee might want to stop the game and review it, and he didn't. Because they never review anything, the referees. They just live off the bloody VAR ref. It's a joke. Mark, what do you do if VAR used a challenge system like tennis, says Luke Netto. Well, here's a chance for Everton. Oh, it's gone for a corner. Cross came in, deflected off a Spurs defender. Gazanega had to dive for it, but it's gone for a corner. There's a goal there for Everton if they want it. I'd say Everton have been the better team. It's a bit of a smash and grab from Spurs, to be honest with you. Spurs really do remind me of United. But the cross came in from Walcott and it just deflected off Ben Davies and went wide for a corner. But a corner for Everton and a substitution for Everton. They've taken off Theo Walcott, the Arsenal reject, and they've brought on Tosun, the Turkish striker. Ooh, Everton nearly getting something from the corner. Doesn't quite happen. Richarlison. And a good tackle in there by Sissoko. Cascade, I've answered that question before. I'm not going to keep answering it. It's repetitive. Why don't the refs use the monitors, says Barton? Because they're all stubborn knobheads. That's basically why. There's been a collective decision by the Premier League referees that they won't use the monitors on the side because they want to keep the game flowing. But by keeping the game flowing, they're actually confusing the game for the viewer, who are the consumer. And on any level of entertainment business, the consumer should always be kept. Well, there's a VAR monitor now. I think he might give a penalty for this. I think that will be a penalty on Dele Alli. It's going to be a penalty. That'll be a penalty. It hits his hand. It's in an unorthodox position. You know what I would say in fairness to Dele Alli though? Mina has got his arm on the back of Dele Alli, and I think it's a reflection thing. That he's just trying to protect the back of his head from Mina. But it does hit his hand in an unorthodox position, so I think it'll be a penalty. Letter of the law, isn't it? His hand's in an unorthodox position. Well, it's silence here because we're waiting to... I think he's going to give it. He's got to get... Well, they've taken so long on this. I think they've got to get... I think letter of the law, they've got to give the penalty. But I think he's moving his hand because he's protecting his head from Mina. I think that's what he's doing. But letter of the law, they're going to have to give it. What are we thinking, people? He's not giving it. Oh, my life. I can't believe they've not given that. I can't believe it. I can't believe they've not given that. His hand is in an unorthodox position and hits the ball. It's just crazy. This is not VAR. This is a mess. An absolute mess. You're just confusing fans again. I'm stunned. I've got to go to the live comments here. I am absolutely stunned now. So I mean, Zero Blade 50 says, how is it not a penalty? I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh to give a penalty. I think it's harsh to give a penalty on Dele Alli. But the reality is, his hand is up there. Unnatural position, and it hits his hand. It has to be a penalty. It's the same as the PSG. It has to be a penalty. I would really sympathise with it for Spurs. I think it's harsh, but it's a penalty. And again, they've spent loads of time looking at it. They've basically shown the world why it's a penalty, and then they've gone, nah, play on. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So tell me now, as the viewer, what's the point in VAR? Like, they've just spent a minute showing us something that we're all going to go, that's harsh, but it's a penalty. And then they don't give it, which it wasn't given in the first place. So what's the bloody point? I don't understand what the point of it is now. And I've been saying this for weeks. I don't understand why Son's wasn't a penalty, because there was contact. And Mane had one like that, I thought, correctly 3 weeks ago. And Dan James last week, but this week Son doesn't get it. And then you have a handball where his hands, you cannot have your hand in a more unnatural position than that. And it hits his hand and they go, no penalty. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely bloody ridiculous. I can't. And I feel so sorry for you, because as a football fan myself, I'm sat here frustrated and I don't even support Spurs or Everton. I'm just like, I'm a consumer of football and you are confusing the fuck out of me because I don't understand what VAR is meant to be now. So basically, you've got a referee who goes to another referee who basically puts his finger in the air, licks it and goes, which way's the wind blowing? No, not a penalty. When what he should be doing is going to a computer monitor with a rule book that says, hands in an unorthodox position, penalty. End of story. Doesn't matter whether it's harsh, doesn't matter whether it's his birthday, doesn't matter whether his cat's died and you don't want to upset him. It's a penalty. It's harsh, but it's a penalty. But they don't give that penalty there, so we're all going, I ain't got a fucking clue anymore. I don't know what's a penalty and what's not. I don't know why they make the decision or not. It's ridiculous. And also, in the context of Marco Silva, he could lose his job off that. Very good point from Intro Greatness. Very good point. Total confusion in the live comments as well, and I don't think they're anti-Spurs fans. I mean, some of them will be. I like Spurs, and I think it would have been very harsh on Dele Alli, but it's a penalty. I mean, Ebby12 Gaming says it's not a penalty. I am actually reading to see if there's anybody telling me why it's not a penalty, because I cannot understand it. Bottom line is, it might be harsh, but it's hit his hand, 100% penalty. Says Kermo94. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think it's really harsh if that's given as a penalty. But as I said, I know the rules, and I know it's a penalty, but I don't understand why VAR hasn't given it. I've actually just tweeted it out as well, so I just want to see if we can get any sort of decent reply on this that makes any sense. See if we've got anything in it. Somebody said it was a foul. That's why it can't be a handball. But it can't have been a foul because Everton still had the corner afterwards. So that can't be nice. And you've got Spurs fans saying 100% a penalty. Glad it wasn't, though. Obviously, was originally all for VAR, but now it needs to go. You've got even bloody Spurs fans saying that. So I think the saddest thing of it all is, and we can all have a laugh, and we all do have a laugh, and that's the great thing. But the saddest thing about it all is, you've just wasted 90 seconds. Somebody said they reviewed that handball. Atkinson didn't give a handball. 90 seconds reviewing, showing us the world that it did hit his hand in an unnatural position, and we're all going, it's harsh, but it's going to have to be given, and then they don't give it, and you're like, right, so you've wasted 90 seconds of our time showing us all that it was a penalty, and then and showcasing what VAR is all about, and then you've not given it, and then that's the thing for me. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, it's a nasty injury here as well for Andre Gomez. Very, very nasty injury. Oh, God, it's all going off. You don't want to see this as well. Son's got his head in his hands. He's tackled Andre Gomez. Seamus Coleman's run on from the side. He's a sub. Son's crying. Sad. I don't think he's got a yet. He's already been given a yellow. Oh, he's going to give him a red. How can he change his mind from a yellow to a red? I haven't seen the tackle, but Atkinson's awful. Atkinson's a dickhead, isn't he? He's a dickhead. He's an absolute dickhead. He gives somebody a yellow card for a tackle he saw, and then he changes it to a red. Now, I haven't seen the tackle, so maybe it is a red card tackle, but is he changing his mind because of the severity of the foul and the injury? Probably, but I haven't seen the tackle. I'm probably like, you're probably going to tell me it was definitely a red, but maybe VAR's checked the red there. Maybe that time they've got it right, but we ain't going to see the tackle again, I can tell you that. Yeah, Astro Amp 1, I haven't seen the fucking tackle. So don't start at me. He's broken his bloody leg. I can tell he's done something. I haven't seen the tackle. So I can see that it's a nasty tackle because Son's crying and everyone's running around, but I haven't seen the tackle. And what I'm saying is, you can have a tackle where somebody breaks their leg and not get a red card. I've seen it with Luke Shaw. I don't know whether the tackle's broken his leg. I don't know whether the rolling impact of the thing has broken his leg. So I'm not going to, say it was a red card tackle when I've not seen the tackle. If you have and you think it's a red card, that's fine. I haven't seen it. And if VAR has told Martin Atkinson it's a red, absolutely fine by me. Maybe that's what they've said, but we're not going to see it back. We're not going to see it back. But it's bad. I can't describe the tackle of Ranji because I haven't seen it. All I know is that there was a tackle by Son by Andre Gomez. Atkinson gave a yellow card. It wasn't a straight red. He gave a yellow card. Son walked off crying. Seamus Coleman ran on the pitch as a sub and was like, get somebody on really, really quick. Players have got their heads on their hand. It's bad. And when I'm saying it's bad, I don't know whether it's as bad as sort of, what's his name for Coventry? David Bust, Aaron Ramsey, Luke Shaw. If anybody actually saw the tackle, please in the live comments. Well, we're going to see it now. I don't think it's a red card tackle, that. I don't think it's a red card. I've just seen it now. He tries to get the ball and sort of catches the back of his leg, and I think it must be the subsequent... It's not the tackle that breaks his leg. It's the momentum of the tackle that sends him on because Sky is stopping it afterwards. So I actually think he's got the red card because of the severity of what happens afterwards. I think the initial tackle is a yellow card, but it's caused... because they've shown it on the telly there. So Andre Gomez is running down the left-hand wing. Son tries to make a tackle, but it's late and it catches his back leg. Then they won't play anymore. And I think what happens is he rolls over and has done his leg in like that. So, and I think Harry's right. It's a yellow, but because he's broke his leg, it's a red. Yeah, I think you've got, I don't know. I'm just gonna tweet this out as well. It's been a weird game, this one, isn't it? And we've been talking about what's our favourite sort of easy meal and this, that and the other. We've had a poor performance from Martin Atkinson. We've had a penalty that Everton should have. They've now lost a player. Son's been sent off. It's been a funny game. It's been a very, very funny. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's, football's an impact sport, isn't it? Occasionally we do get these injuries, and you just hope that he can come back for it. And as a United fan, I've seen Valencia snap his leg, I've seen Luke Shaw snap his leg, and they've both come back. So I hope that Andre Gomez can come back as well. I think I do feel bad for Son. I feel bad for Son because that tackle he makes is not malicious. Everybody makes tackles like that, and unfortunately, it's led to something a little bit different. But I agree with JB. From what I saw, I don't think the challenge itself was a red card. I think Martin Atkinson and VAR have just seen the subsequent injury and said, well, he's caused that injury, so it's a red card. The tackle, the actual impact, isn't the bit that does his leg. It's the momentum of the tackle that causes it, which I suppose is a contributing factor, isn't it? So, Stuart Hay says it's not right that the ref gave him a yellow but changed it to a red. Well, maybe that was VAR. I don't know. Chance on the back post there. I think it was Calvert-Lewin. Heads it over the bar. I mean, we're going to probably get about 10 minutes added on, so I think we've got 15. There's no need for people to fall out in the live comments. At the end of the day, it's Son tackles him. The momentum causes the horrific injury. It's a yellow card. It's definitely not a red card tackle, but I think he gets the red because of because of what the tackle leads to, the damage it causes. And I think at the end of the day, Son won't mind having a 3-game ban compared to what Gomez is going to get. Like you say, he's probably going to be out for a year. So, in the circumstances, it's probably justifiable. But, and obviously the main concern and thoughts are with the player who's injured. But it won't be. It's not nice for Son, but it's just one of them things in life. You've got to take the blame, haven't you? There will have been 10 other tackles like that tackle on this game today, but one of them has just led to something like that. I hope it does end in a draw, the Ghost. I think it deserves to be a draw because I think that Marco Silva could lose his job, and it's not been a game that Everton don't deserve at least a point from, and it was a penalty. I mean, let's go back to that. It was a penalty on Dele Alli did handball it. It was a penalty. So I hope that Everton do get a draw because it's what they deserve. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we've had a lot of people joining us, obviously because of the controversy and the tackle on Andre Gomez, which was from Son. What I would say is that as soon as he'd done the tackle, Son was like that. Seamus Coleman ran off the bench and was like, quick, get medical help. I think there are some footballers out there that have been bothered by it. Which is, Samuel Ahrens said that his leg got twisted. The sad thing is that you can actually... I don't really want to do this, but there might be something on Twitter. Just watching the tackle back. All right. I mean, the interesting thing is, it's not showing me the severity of the injury, but it's just watching Son's bit. I think it's actually Aurier who causes it. So, look, I haven't seen the twisted leg or anything like that. I've just actually watched the incident. So, Son tackles him, and the momentum sends him into a tackle of Aurier. So, I think it's the contact of Aurier and the momentum of Gomez into Aurier that does his leg in. But obviously Son gets the red card, which I think, I feel bad for Son because I don't think the tackle initially that he makes is that bad. But I think it's a circumstance thing, isn't it? The tackle sends the momentum into Aurier, which obviously snaps his leg up. And I think in the circumstances, Atkinson's like, bloody hell, I've got to give a red. I've got to change that to a red. But it is. I agree with Luke Davis. It's more Aurier, but Aurier's got no bloody knowledge of it. He actually he flies into Aurier, and that's obviously what does his leg in. It's just a horrible, horrible bad luck. You see tackles like that all the time. It's just horrible bad luck. But I don't think there'll be any Spurs fans complaining about the red. I think, he's broke his leg, innit? And like Chris Pope says, it's because he's fallen awkwardly. If you want to see the tackle, you can see it on Twitter. Just put Andre Gomez in on Twitter, and it didn't show me what happened with his leg. It just showed the tackle. I thought he got tackled and fell over, and the momentum he twisted his leg up, but he doesn't. He gets tackled and he flies into Aurier, and I think that's what does his leg. 9 minutes of added time anyway, and it's all Everton because they're down to 10 men. Spurs. Samuel Aaron says, I don't think it's a red. Hold on, I'll come back to you, Samuel. I don't think it's a red. I think his leg got stuck underneath himself. Neither Son or Aurier could have done anything about it. Yeah, don't go looking for what happens to his leg, Harry Bell, Gregory. But having said that, Luke Shaw's was bad as well. No, Rude Pike. Let's not all go and look at his leg. 12 minutes of added time because he had the VAR thing as well. So there's bloody ages to go in this. Please subscribe if you're new. We've got over 5,000 watching. We do. I do the FIFA stuff on here. My FIFA streams are on here, but we also do Premier League watch-alongs, Champions League watch-alongs if there's good enough games. And the next Premier League watch-alongs are going to be Leicester Arsenal at 5:30 next Saturday. And then this time next week, I'm going to do Liverpool Man City. Can't wait. Two really good games. Excited for those. All the best to Andre Gomez as well. I mean, Everton losing another player there at a time where, will they lose their manager? And I think Kay's right. You've got to give the red card because it's dangerous play by Son. And I think that's probably the comment of the night by Kay. I think we're looking at it and going, there's loads of tackles like Son's. He's really unlucky to get a red card, but it's one of those things. But I think Kay's right. If it leads, I think that's probably what Atkinson does. He sees the tackle like we do from Son and goes, well, it's a yellow card tackle. And then the player goes into Aurier and it's just bad luck what happens to him. But then the mind switches and goes, well, actually, it's a dangerous tackle by Son and it's caused somebody a career-threatening injury. I've got to give a red. So I would actually think, on reflection, when you work your mind through it, it's not a horrific tackle by Son. He's not that sort of player. And it's not the tackle that causes the injury, the initial impact of the tackle. It's the momentum of sending him into Aurier that breaks his leg. But it's a dangerous tackle that causes that momentum. So you've got to give the red, I think. Yamar Tarki says, why aren't you doing the United watch-along? Because this isn't the United stand, mate. The reason things are green and it's called That's Football is because this is That's Football. On the United stand, I will be doing Manchester United versus Brighton at 2 o'clock, which clashes with neither 5:30 Leicester Arsenal on the Saturday or 4 o'clock Liverpool Man City on the Sunday. And by the way, don't fall for the trolls in the live comments trying to say Ollie is sacked. In fact, let me just get rid of Zane123 and anybody else who wants to say it. I'll just block you from the channel forever because people actually do believe knobheads. Dylan, he's not been sacked. You can go as well. And Pistol. Time out as well. So, can they get a... Can they get a goal? Can they get a goal? We've still got about 8 minutes left in this game. Everton pushing 10 men for Everton. We've all gone a bit quiet, haven't we? Because it's just, you know, you get these moments every now and again, and it just causes a problem in your mindset. But I feel bad for Everton today. Definite penalty in that injury. You've got to say it'll be harsh. But football can be cruel. What do we got? Still got another 6 minutes to go. It's been a long one. Ollie has not been sacked. It's just idiots in the live comments. I'm not even entertaining it. All I will say to people in the live comments who have a brain is Ollie's not been sacked. It's just knobheads who've got small willies, and if they're ladies, maybe, I don't know. Well, maybe they have. I don't know, but no. He's not been sacked. Wishful thinking for some, I think. JB says the ref, and there's a goal. Everton they've scored, and it's a well-deserved goal. Calvert-Lewin, or is it Tosin who scores? They do deserve it. Everton. It's funny because I've just tweeted about how I felt sorry for them. And they've gone and got the goal. Cross comes in. There's not going to be any VAR issue with that because it's not offside. And it's Calvert-Lewin who gets it. It's Tosin who gets it. And it's 1-1. There's no foul, there's no offside, and they've definitely deserved it. Sometimes football will serve up justice, and we've got some. And Everton have got a point. And I tell you what, there's some good news if you're a United fan as well, because we'll remain in 11th place, in 10th place. We won't drop to 11th. And I think justice has been served there. I know Spurs would probably like the points, of course they would, but you can't moan about the red card. You can't moan that it should have been a penalty to Everton as well. So unless you're going to score 2 goals yourself, which you're quite clearly not, then it was going to always be a fair result if Everton could get the goal that they deserve, and they've got it. 1-1. So Spurs would go up to 13 points, put them level with Manchester United, but United would United could technically be 13th because they've got the same points as West Ham, Wolves and Spurs at the moment, but United have got the better goal difference. We're still living off that Chelsea 4-0 because that's what's given us that 2 goal difference, which Wolves have got 0, West Ham have got -3, and Spurs would have +1. So Spurs would go up to 11th, but United would stay in 10th on 13 points. United 3 points above Everton, yet no talk of Ollie being sacked, says Karen. But only in the live comments here, who've actually managed to bait a few people. We've had a VAR no red card decision in there as well. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's been a very, I said this game would be the pick of the weekend. I think in some ways it's been the pick of the weekend for the wrong reasons. A horrific Andre Gomez injury. And horrific VAR. I mean, in fact, I'm not going to use the word horrific because horrific should be reserved for that poor lad who's got that injury. But disappointingly crap VAR has not given Everton a penalty. Didn't give Spurs a penalty actually. I thought it was a penalty on Son as well. I will be consistent there. I thought that I've seen Mane get a penalty against Leicester for very little contact and a bit of exaggeration. I've seen Dan James get a penalty this year for very little contact and exaggeration. And then today we've seen Son, very little contact, exaggeration, no penalty with a VAR review. And then we've seen an absolutely unnatural hand from Dele Alli hit his hand, no penalty. So VAR shocking, really. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But the foul will overshadow it. But we might get a late winner here for Everton. Some would say that would be sweet, sweet justice. I'm live on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll be talking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in or out. You're all welcome to join us, all 5,000 of you. It doesn't matter whether you're a Liverpool fan or not a United fan or whatever. I think you'll enjoy it. Man United fans melting down. It's got to be watchable even if you're a United fan or not. I think you'll enjoy it. So 8 o'clock on the United Stand if you fancy joining that. It's got to be better than Last of the Summer Wine, hasn't it? Or Songs of Praise. But this week is going to be a big one on That's Football. Leicester, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City next weekend. We'll do both of those. FIFA tomorrow lunchtime. And I might do a Champions League game. I might do Chelsea versus Ajax on Tuesday. We'll see. But make sure you subscribe. Get involved. We're getting so close to 100,000 subscribers for the channel now. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Spurs have got a breakaway here, but they haven't really got the numbers. Everton are trying to get back, but I think Spurs, Dele Alli might go for the bottom, for the corner here and just try and keep hold of the ball because they haven't really got the numbers. Ben Davies comes forward. He's tried to go on a run, and Everton might now capitalise because there's quite a few Spurs players out of position. But good covering tackle from Davinson Sanchez. Fair. I think it's a draw, which is a fair result, I think, at the end of the day. It has ended odd. I think football, we all love football. Of course we do, but sometimes it's... it's irrelevant, isn't it, when somebody gets a career-threatening injury like that. Hard day. I think a draw is a fair result, but Everton will feel very hard done by. I think Spurs will probably feel a bit hard done by as well. So probably at the end of the day, a draw is a fair result. You can join me on the United Stand at 8 o'clock in just over an hour's time, an hour and a half actually, for Sunday night live debate show. Join us for that. Thanks everybody for watching. Obviously, I think as a footballing community, all our thoughts are with Andre Gomez. Football is secondary, but beyond that, and I know it pales into total significance with the injury, VAR is a waste of time. It's ruining football. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you soon.